A recent meeting with Nigerians in London, the Minister of Power, Professor Chinedu Nebo, insists that the current threshold of power generation in the country is about 4,000 megawatts of electricity, but decried the spate of sabotage on gas pipelines, restricting further progress. Moving forward, he says, however, requires alternatives that can support the national integrated power projects, some of which take at least 4 years to materialize. The same goes for transmission. Responding to expectations of 24-hour electricity supply,
you can't get 24/7 everywhere in Nigeria. Like I said, if you wanted to do exactly what South Africa is doing now, you need 160,000 megawatts. Nobody can do that. And the cost per megawatt, just on the average, because of the mixture of gas, hydro, solar, wind, and everything, minimum will be about 2 million. So what you're talking about is $3.2 trillion.
Oyin Anubi, Sub-Sahara Africa economist at the Bank of America in London, explains how power currently impacts on the nation's economic outlook internationally.
On average, when we look at the data, not having a reliable power supply can add up to 40% to the cost of doing business. This is a real problem for Nigeria, and in the current economic climate we're seeing, where oil is falling, the naira is depreciating and imports are becoming more expensive, you can really see the cost of not having a viable manufacturing sector.
So in the light of these challenges then, how have you been able to sell Nigeria to would-be investors?
I think a lot of investors were happy just to see the power process start, so the reform process start. Some of the assets were taken out of government hands and into the private sector.
British-born but of Nigerian descent, she admits that several visits to the country reveals the difficulties many citizens have to grapple with.
That I think is very disruptive, not only to business but to everyday life, and it's something that Nigerians shouldn't have to face every day. So I hope that this power reform process means that Nigeria can leave this sort of experience with power and lack of lead.
While waiting for the big plans to materialize, it is clear that small incentives, other alternatives, must be considered. Doris Okenwa, Channel Television News, London.